Hello and welcome to Tax Savers University. Welcome back to the new segment that we're doing. If you missed last week, we're starting a new segment where we bring on Andy Mendez, our brand director, and discuss a segment we call Marketing Mondays. So Andy, as I mentioned last week, is the guy who films, edits, schedules out all the content that we do across all of our social channels, and so wanted to bring him on, and we just kind of have a conversation about what we're doing this week, what's working, what's not, and it's not tax savings, but it is tangible business value, and hopefully you enjoyed last week's. If you haven't listened to it already, go back and watch it, but without further ado, welcome Andy.
Yeah, excited to have round two.
Continue the session.
Monday.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of good stuff last week. Kind of to recap, we talked about some Instagram shout outs and then just kind of our scheduling out work and then the podcast and how that evolved. And so what do we got going on this week?
Yeah, this week we got
Well, hold on. Before we get into marketing this week, today we actually moved into a new office.
That's right.
So that's pretty big stuff going on this week. We've been in kind of a temporary spot, and so I think adding a second office location, we'll have to break that down in a future podcast, but we're coming at you live from our new podcast studio. So that's
exciting.
one thing that's going on this week.
Yeah.
So
mixed in with everything else that we have going on. Did you want to mention that at all, or
not yet? So we have some exciting things coming, everybody, but we'll stay tuned on that as far as making a formal announcement. But
cool.
So as far as marketing goes, what have we done? What have we scheduled? I guess it's what. Yeah, so it's Monday when you're hearing this, but we're recording this on a Thursday. So we're kind of towards the end of the week, looking out.
Yeah, so the main focus this week is the style guide that we've been kind of looking over as far as your brand and Measure Results brand. So as far as content, it's keeping everything within those colors and those fonts. So now that we've had 11 months now of content and pushing stuff out, now really making it look nice and put together and have it be consistent.
Yeah.
So when people see those colors, see those fonts, they think of Measure Results, think about Tyler McMillan.
Right. So kind of like when you actually I had a class on marketing in college, I remember, and they went through and they had like 30 different brands, and they showed like the O from Oreo, they showed the W in Wendy's, it wasn't, and then the B in Burger King. I must be hungry because it's all restaurants that I'm coming up with. T and the Tide, like the Tide Eye, all these different things that you see, and your brain instantly knows it's that brand because they've identified like Target's symbol, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So expand a little more what a style guide is for a brand. Like, is it kind of like a brand Bible, so to speak?
Yeah, basically you hit it like on the nose with a hammer. It's something that you refer to when you make any piece of content, anything that markets your business, your personal brand on Instagram, whatever it might be. You see if it matches up to that guide.
Okay.
And it basically gives you guidelines to everything that you make outside of that. It still allows room for creativity, but it gives you basically parameters to follow with everything that you make so that you stay on brand and everything matches your firm.
So I've got a question around that because, like you said, we're about 10, 11 months in on, I was doing it kind of just random snapping on my phone for a year or two before, and then you've been on and we've been pumping out regular consistent content the last 10 and 11 months. We're just now kind of doing this brand style guide. So last week we talked a lot about, hey, just hit record, just get some stuff going out there. In your opinion, at what point should someone look at having more of a brand style guide? Is it better to do it sooner? Is the sooner the better? Or is it kind of get your feet wet, play with some things, test some things, and then once you get momentum and then it works so that you're not changing this style? Like, is it better to do it once you're a little more established, or you think out the gate, figure it out?
I think it's when you're more established. Like we mentioned last week, so many people don't even start. So starting, getting the content going, communicating your message, and then it's that next thing that we take to go to the next level.
Right. So once you see like what pops, what works, what
exactly.
doesn't, but I would say that probably some of those more analytical people that are listening would feel like they've got to get this brand Bible, this style guide done before they do anything. Like it's like you got to have all of this stuff done before you start, but it's key, the key to.
The key is,
you don't want to lock it in until you figure out what works, because what if you have a pink and orange nightmare as your brand style guide?
Yeah.
And that's not going to work at all.
Exactly.
You might but you test it out for a few months and it gets hammered. You don't go anywhere. Okay, maybe that doesn't work. Let's test it.
Yeah, and you're not making it your identity right out of the gate, and then have to announce again that you're changing your brand.
Right.
So if you start, saying pink's our color, you realize that was a poor decision.
Yeah.
And now you have to announce to your followers, oh, we're changing it again.
Now, if you're a Flamingo farm, pink might be a good color, but if you're a men's club, well, it depends. Pink is
football team.
Yeah, there we go. Football team, maybe not so much pink. Yeah. Very cool. I had a question, but escaped me.
Yeah.
Anyways.
What's been this is actually something I'm curious about as well, from somebody that's running the business and also taking the time out to make the podcast, do video. What's been like the biggest challenge on your end from a business owner? Content for the internet.
That's a good question. I think it's the balance of running the business and taking the time out to make the content, because it's something we've talked about when we were figuring out, looking at maybe taking this out and offering it to others. You hinted at the McBroom Media. Is what's the time commitment for the owners, but also if you just post once a week, it ain't going anywhere. And so I think when we first started out, it was okay, let's do full day vlogs twice a week, and so you were following me around with the camera, and that was cool. And if I was doing nothing but making content, I think that would be awesome. But then once we kind of worked our cadence and our schedule, where we set aside an hour a week to do this, plus film 10 videos that are 2-3 minutes, and then you're doing the editing and the scheduling and leveraging it out, it helps the company get consistent content out there. But I'm not necessarily setting aside time every day to do that. Now with Instagram stories, I'm popping up doing stories, and we're mixing in some of that professional content on the stories now, which has been really cool, getting some good feedback on that. But you still have to have kind of that interaction, that face-to-face, where it's clear that I'm at the gym sharing that I'm at the gym, or I'm in the office sharing the new office, or sharing that we got this new station. So
sometimes that's even the content that does better. I know when you went to the concert with Erica, you posted the polls, and they're super popular. A lot of people engage with that. And I think it humanizes you as a brand as well.
So if you're not following me on Instagram, go follow me at Tyler McBroom. I've done a couple of these. It's pretty fun, and try to keep doing them. But so my wife Erica and I try to do regular date nights, and a couple times a few weeks back, we got the chance to have a whole afternoon and evening down in Sacramento. And so we were looking at going to a bunch of different spots, and we let Instagram poll us. So we basically said, okay, we're here in downtown Sacramento. We're thinking about going to this tiki bar, or we're thinking about going to this rooftop pool. And then they voted. And then whoever voted in the first 15 minutes, we went to the winner there. And so that created a lot of good engagement. People, like Andy just said, it humanizes your brand. So whatever you can do to intermix the professional stuff with kind of the raw stuff. But yeah, as far as kind of getting back to the challenge as a business owner, it's that time commitment, because and that's what happened before we hired you. When I was putting it out there, I had a little bit of a following. We said a few hundred followers when we started last week, but it's because I would get this wild hair and get excited and inspired and post every day for like a week, and then I'd post once a week for a few weeks, and then I'd forget, and then I'd be out of the habit of it. And then 3 weeks would go by, and then I'd post again, and then I'd get fired up, and I'd post every day for 4 days. So doing it consistently is tough. So that's where having someone that's responsible for it is huge.
And like you said, if that was the only thing you did was like be a blogger or be a
Mm-hmm.
vlogger,
Mm-hmm.
it's different because that's the job.
Then running a soon-to-be 16-person organization.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of organizations bigger than that out there, but we started 2017 with 4, and now we're going to be at 2016 next month, or at 16, and it's August of 2018 right now. So that's pretty cool, going from 4 people to 16 people. But that takes that's a whole different set of learning curve in managing a growing business. So it's been interesting and definitely helpful having the scheduling and the kind of the back end stuff leveraged out by having you own that. And then also it's accountability, right?
Yeah.
You've got a job to do. You're here, a full-time member of our team. If I don't sit down and make content with you, we're just throwing money away, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So having that consistency in creating the content is helped by the accountability of you scheduling these times and saying, hey, get that post done on Hootsuite. Then I get distracted because someone comes and asks me a question and I forget, and then we reschedule it to 3 hours later.
Yeah. But
So,
like you said, if we didn't have the team behind it, it just like probably get like thrown in the back burner.
mm-hmm.
Maybe get uploaded like the following week.
Yeah,
and
for
I know
sure.
You're talking about how we're growing as a firm,
Mm-hmm.
and tying that back into the style guide and really defining branding, marketing, and sales for
Mm-hmm.
our firm is like another focus for marketing this next week, is to really,
Okay.
like I said, the style guide for your brand, for Measure Results as well,
Mhm.
and for other projects, so that we can start going to like the next level when it comes to marketing
Mhm.
and what people think of when they see Measure Results.
Yeah.
And you. And I think, like you were mentioning, all the big brands in the world, they have
Mhm.
that logo, that main
Mhm.
thing. Again, kind of like the base being, we start putting out content, we're rolling,
Mhm.
doing everything like going and learning, adjusting, and adjusting, and then now really start building a foundation to, build that, our department 5 years from now
Mhm.
and really grow it. And I think where that starts with like, all right, where can we make everything look consistent?
Mhm.
Where can we give a face to Measure Results?
Mhm.
Tyler McBroom.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's all about when you're building a business, you've got to build your business around good systems. Otherwise, as you scale, it's going to scale chaos. And so now you're building basically the internal Measure Results, Tyler McBroom, personal brand, whatever, marketing system, so that as we grow the team out, and there's a creative, an intern doing creative, or a entry level staff doing creative, they can look to that and have a system of what the creative should look like.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
cool. Something that you and I were talking about yesterday, because this month has been an absolutely killer month for new business development. We were analyzing separate business lesson. Look at where where your business is coming from and what your profitable items are, so you know where to focus your energies and your efforts. So we were looking at, we had, break down the numbers. We've signed up, I think it was like 12 or 13 different clients, adding 10% of our total annual revenue as an additional new business just this month alone, and in the month of August. And so that's been an absolutely explosive month. And so we were looking at where that came from, and about 15-20% of it was social media. Another quarter of it, or 15-20%, was current clients. Another 10-20% was other marketing activities we do, like giving speeches to real estate offices, network groups that I'm a part of. And then the other part was referrals, getting referrals from clients. And one thing I had remarked to Andy that I wanted to make sure we covered today was the impact social media has on referrals. So you get a new client and you do a good job for them, then hopefully you get a referral. But then if a few months go by and maybe you only deal with them once a year, they don't think of you again, especially with taxes. They don't think of you again until April 10th, and it's 5 days until the deadline, or unless they're really procrastinators and they think of you on October 10th. But if we incorporating a system in our onboarding where we make sure they're following all of our social channels, we're hitting them they see us every day, and so they're top of mind. so that when they're out having beers on a Friday night with one of their other business owner friends and they're lamenting that they paid too much to Uncle Sam, well, now we're top of mind and we're there. So it's really being growth minded and putting yourself out there is not just getting direct. We get direct messages, people saying, hey, can I get a consultation? And then it turns into business, which is awesome. But the sort of unmeasurable result of that is that we get more referrals too, because we're way more top of mind. We're top of mind a lot more often. And so that's been a cool evolution to see.
Yeah, 100% agree. And like you were saying, all it takes is them, like on Friday night, grabbing a beer, grabbing food, hanging out with another business owner buddy, and they just see your story. You're not even really talking taxes. They're not talking taxes. Who's that?
Yeah.
Like, that's my accountant. And then that conversation gets started.
Yeah.
And like you said,
well, then it's easy for them to share a post and a DM to their friend who they follow on Instagram, and then all of a sudden they're following you, and now they might, who knows what their network is. We had a new client that we just got that turns out he runs a business, but he's got a bunch of sub-businesses, owners beneath him, and he wants to introduce us to all of them. And so it just works its way down the chain, and it's all interlinked. And so social media impacts referrals. Referrals then can grow your social media, but then also being growth mindset. Where in our culture it's normal that we get 5 to 10 new clients a month. It's just accepted. That's what we're doing. We're growing. And so the team comes to expect it. So that growth mindset's huge too.
Another thing that came up this week, sorry, the end of the week, was somebody talking about how they have a bunch of regulations in their field.
Oh yeah, like financial services and
working around that. And I think those specific fields do have those regulations, but then there's also other people that maybe put those on themselves as far as what they can and can't post.
They self-regulate because they don't want to be on the camera.
Yeah,
they make those excuses.
What's professional, what's not, kind of thing. And I think those for people out there kind of like looking to start marketing through social media, to not overthink it in that sense, and then to not disrespect the platform. So that even now to this day, people are still talking about, when you get a card in the mail every week, like a weekly.
The card in the mail?
Yeah.
Direct mail?
Direct mail.
Okay.
Falling into the stereotype of millennial.
You can tell which area of marketing we do and don't focus on.
Yeah, exactly. Or even just, banner ads. When's the last time you actually clicked on a link on a banner
even
ad?
the right. So I read a study, I think a year or so ago, that said millennials, speaking of millennials, don't even see the right side of the screen because they're so used to Google ads being on the right side and Facebook ads. All the ads are right there on the right side of the screen. So they literally just focus on the left 80% of the screen.
Yeah.
So they don't even see those things.
Exactly.
So it's all about marketing that doesn't look and feel like marketing.
Yeah.
But
I think, and that's been something on mind as kind of putting the content up and being in this space, is that posting to Instagram and the podcast and things like that doesn't at first really necessarily feel like marketing.
Yeah. Well, because you're just giving value.
Yeah.
You're just educating.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. And that's the best kind these days.
Yeah. And when we first started this, we weren't looking to sell things right away. It was more so, bringing taxes to the masses. And a lot of the mindsets that I've been seeing from business owners that are very successful in their field, but new to the new style of, quote unquote, new style of marketing, is they're looking for the prospects and the leads right away. Like, if I post once, I'm expecting
12,000 a business.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. And it just doesn't work that way. And as far as a common mistake that I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen as well, with like universities and different organizations, anytime they post to Facebook or Instagram, they're linking out to their website.
Yeah.
It's not oh, I hope you're having a great Friday. Here's this piece of information. It's, have you seen our blog post?
Yeah.
And that's the only thing they post.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's no value in that no matter how many times you post.
Yeah, social media can be magic, but you forget that the magician went to school for many, many years.
Quote card.
It's a long-term game. So, it's not all of a sudden, just like you said, it's like Gary Vee says, jab, 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 right hook.
Exactly.
And then the right hook isn't, hey, let's sign up for my business. It's, hey, can you follow me on this other platform?
Exactly. And for even if you're driving somebody to your website, if we were trying to update all our clients and potential prospects on the website with pieces of information and trying to take them from Facebook and Instagram to see the information on the website, what we're doing as a firm is just communicating that information on the social platforms. Yeah,
is native.
There's no reason to send them out to the website if you can just communicate that on the platform.
So from a technical side of things on that, with keeping it native, what are some tips that you can give to people that maybe aren't super design oriented, where they know Photoshop or they know Premiere, all that? What are some just good basic things for keeping it native on different platforms?
The good thing about living in 2018 is that a majority of influencers actually build their content on just apps. And that's become more popular as the younger generations are kind of getting older. So go to YouTube and type in the first influencer that comes to mind that has a big following, and just say, how to create Instagram posts like so-and-so.
Okay.
And you'll be surprised how many videos come up. They'll show you exactly what app to download, how to make it look that way. If you don't want to go through that process, just go through influencers that are in your field and just go scroll through their feed, see what they're posting and how they're going about it, and then how they're designing their captions. And then you just type up what you want to say, and then just go to YouTube or Google and how to design caption with dash in the middle and post it on Instagram. And there'll be a bunch of these that come up. And
so kind of it's developing an eye for noticing the little differences on each platform. So like what the style looks like on Instagram versus what the style looks like on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, right?
And I mean, if you go to Facebook, you have some accounts that aren't doing it right, and they're posting a bunch of hashtags on there. And that's
they link directly through from Instagram or something like that.
Or they think that since it's working on Instagram, that's what you're supposed to do on Facebook.
Yeah.
But then again, just go to Nike's Facebook and just see what they're posting. Yeah. Are they putting emojis? Are they not putting emojis? And just literally just type your message and make it look exactly like that.
Yeah.
And just roll from there. And then if maybe the next week they're posting emojis, you just kind of question it, why are they posting an emoji? And then try posting it.
Yeah, I remember a few months back when I wasn't really taking Twitter seriously at all. So whenever I was posting like direct from my phone on Instagram, and I just slide the little button and say, post to Twitter. And you said, Tyler, are you sharing this directly to Twitter?
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That looks like crap.
Exactly. I don't know why they still have that feature on the platforms, because it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it does make it easy. It'll say
there's plenty of people who get excited about it. Yeah.
I can post this Instagram post or this tweet, and it'll go across all my platforms.
But easy.
Done. But again, it just kind of it's looking at what your feed looks like when you're scrolling through, and how can I make my message look like that?
Yeah.
And emulate the people that are winning on there, and guarantee everybody that has big followings and is actually winning on those platforms, they're saying the same message, but they're creating it specifically for those platforms.
Yeah.
And making it look, like you said, native.
Well, and scheduling it at different times so that it's because if you post on Instagram and it always goes straight through to Twitter and always goes to Facebook, why do I need to follow you on all those three channels?
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm getting the exact same content everywhere.
Exactly. So you'd want to just stick. So if you do it at the same time, again, just stick to the one platform. But again, you'd just be surprised if you're trying to make stuff look native. It just Google or YouTube and
just a little bit of effort.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of effort.
how do I make it look like this? And then if they do require Photoshop or Adobe, you just, again, how do I make it look like this without Photoshop?
Yeah.
And there'll be a bunch of tutorials, you know, a lot run by like high school and college kids, and you just follow, they'll take you step by step. All right, download this app, I'll take a photo of this, I'll put this filter, adjust it like this, just like that, and then upload it.
Yeah, and it's going to take a little longer the first time or two.
Yeah.
But then you'll get used to it. And then they'll want a whole new look from you a month later once you get that down. But yeah.
And with the new trend of tweets being an Instagram post, a
Yeah.
lot of it just
Super easy.
tweet, screenshot,
Crop it.
and
Boom.
post it up there.
Yeah.
So I just kind of look at, because that trend wasn't around, I think even like a year ago, as far as like the Twitter box.
Yeah.
So back then you wouldn't
Wouldn't
post
do that, yeah.
If you see it kind of popping up
Uh-huh.
and reoccurring, then
Like, oh, hey, let's do this.
do
Yeah.
that.
Super
Exactly.
easy. Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else? I think we're
That's
pretty close to out of time. So
Cool.
awesome. Well, hope you guys enjoyed that. Went on a few tangents and some good stuff there. I think it was a lot of good nuggets in there. And yeah, if you're not following me on Instagram at Tyler McBroom, check out Andy. What's your Instagram handle? I forget. You change it a lot.
I know. At Andy P. Mendez.
That's what it is now.
Yeah.
So
Might change in like 2
Yeah.
months.
and go check us out on Instagram or at Tyler McBroom CPA at Twitter. And of course, you hear this on the podcast, so you know we have that. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.